guys, welcome back to another episode of Holly's Garage. Today we're going to be messing around with this old 86 C10 short bed. I swapped it. It's got an LQ4. I swapped the MB4500 out like a, what was it? It was like a 95 C3500. It's got a sloppy stage 3 in it, and runs pretty good. I'm going to have to get it tuned eventually, but what we're worried about today is just getting a C-notch in it. This is just one of those cheap kits off of, it's just off of eBay. You know, I don't know what this thing costs. I think it was like $100 or something like that for a C-notch flip kit. So we're going to be C-notching the frame, and then we're going to flip the rear axle. And what we're going to do is set the rear axle above the leaf springs, and that C-notch will allow the suspension travel to give it plenty of travel up and down, so it's not bottoming out. The axle won't hit the bottom of the frame. So let's get that thing set up. This is a bolting kit. You can get weld-on kits and everything. You can go all out. You can spend a ton of money on these things too. But you know, this is a budget build. I'm gonna spend, I don't think I have any money wrapped up in this truck right now after buying the parts truck, parting it out, selling the motor out of this thing. So right now I got no money wrapped up in this. I actually made some money so far. So I'm just trying to keep this as budget friendly as possible. And the way to do that is to buy one of these cheap ass kits off of eBay. So let's get to it and get cutting. Alright, so I made a little template here out of cardboard. What I did was just line it up. So I just lined it up on here, on the frame itself. It's going to be a hair different because I measured I traced out the outside of the C-notch that they gave us. And basically this top piece here, I stuck this inside the C-notch. So basically this top piece here is going to get cut off. So that'll raise I marked it here as you can see, and I marked that with flush. So basically what that's going to do is going to raise this up just a hair, probably about an inch or so. Then I also got to knock the bump stops off, obviously, because the C-notch isn't going to allow that bump stop to stay there, and it comes with separate bump stops to put in there inside the C-notch. So that other bump stop will sit right inside that C-notch. And basically all I did, took the plasma cutter, and I can show you guys that also. So you take the plasma cutter, I just cut the tops of the they're like cold rivets or whatever you would want to call them. You can see the other side there. If you don't have a plasma cutter, that's the easiest route, and that's what I took. If you don't have one, you can use your grinder. You can cut these little, you can cut these heads into quarters or halves, thirds, whatever you want to do. Usually quarters is easiest. Take like a chisel end on an air hammer and just chisel the corners off of it. That way it's flush with the, you take the head completely down, then just take a punch and punch that sucker through. And she'll come out. So I kind of screwed up here. I was beating this stuff up with a hammer and smashed my dang brake line. So I'll try to round that back out, but just for temporarily. Well, son of a gun. I started messing with this C-notch again, and I sprayed these up a week ago or whatever. I never got back to it, and I was actually able to work these off. So just used the breaker bar, broke them free for the most part, and let's see how this goes. I had to use a little bit of heat from the MAP gas, but this little, it wasn't even $100. It was off of Amazon, and that sucker was able to bust some of them loose. Let's see what she can do now. what happens. That one's not having it. I haven't taken the breaker bar over here yet. Alright, we'll get the breaker bar over here. Alright, let's get the breaker bar on her, and we'll see where that gets us. Once I break them free, I should be able to get that, I'm hoping so, at least. I can probably get the dang impact on her. Bang! It's all about the thrust, the hip thrust. Alright, let's see if the impact will do anything to it now. Is it broken free? No sir. Let me go get a bigger ratchet and we'll ratchet those things now. guess it was pretty hard at the end there. But I mean, after breaking them free, this thing did a pretty dang good job. And you might be wondering, like, why would he even bother? Why wouldn't you just get new U-bolts? Well, I don't really feel like waiting on them. And I mean, I guess you're not really supposed to use old U-bolts, but I'm just gonna clean these up and use them again. So save me like 60 bucks. These U-bolts are expensive now. And I'll probably just buy new nuts and clean up the threads and send them home. But yeah, I just didn't feel like waiting on them. So now we'll get ready. We'll get ready to cut and notch the frame, and then what I'll do is I'll unbolt that rear shackle. We'll lift it back up and unbolt the. Man, I guess it's almost easier though. I was thinking about just doing the back shackle, rolling the rear out and rolling it back in, but by the time I disconnect the parking brake and all the brakes, it's probably just easier to unbolt, even though those are all going to be seized up too. So yeah, I'm going to try to unbolt that stuff first, and then yeah, unbolt the leaf springs, and then that way I could just pull the leaf spring off altogether, slip it underneath, because it's going to be a pain in the butt to unhook all this stuff. And I'll just have to buy a new, I'll probably have to just, yeah, I'll probably have to cut them off. We'll see. I'm going to spray them up though. Off. Yeah, that was so you just gotta look out. Don't put your head over top of this, because it will fling up hit you in the face. Probably wouldn't feel too great. And now what I'll do, I'll probably need to buy new bolts, because these are kind of boogered up just from coming through. You can see at the end there. I'll try to reuse them. You know, if not, I'll probably have another $15 worth of bolts or something. And so we'll get this one out, oh, like that. We'll take the leaf springs, we'll drop them out. And before I do anything, I think I'm gonna wire wheel all this stuff and paint it. That way, I mean, now that I have it all apart, might as well do it now and get it done, so that this thing looks pretty good when all is said and done, and I'll have to repeat any steps. So I'll do that. I probably won't bother videoing it. I'll just show you the end result, because it's pretty simple. I'm just going to wire wheel it, wipe it down, spray it with some black. I got some gloss black tractor paint I'll probably spray it with. And that's it. Then I'll take these leaf springs, I'll pop them underneath, and we'll use our, actually I have to cut the other bump stop out of the other side. Let's see. We'll use our flip kit. So I believe these, gotta double check what these do. So I believe these go underneath like this, like that. Then the leaf spring will sit in, I want to say this hole here. Then we'll have this on top, and should be it, hopefully. Then I gotta put these bump stops on, or actually I think the bump stop goes onto here. Oh no, I'm sorry. Bump stop goes there. And then that's it. So I'll line this up. We'll drill a bunch of holes, or I might just end up using a plasma cutter, cutting it out, zipping them out quick. They don't have to be perfectly circular or anything. So as long as the bolt fits through, and that's it, really. All right, I wire wheeled the frame down some. Looks pretty good. Got some pitting and all that, but I mean, it doesn't really matter so much to me. I guess if you were really trying to do like a show car or something, I guess you could skim coat it or something, but whatever, I don't really care. So we got most of this cleaned up. It's a little, lighting's a little weird. There you go, that looks better. But we got it pretty well cleaned up. I'm gonna put a primer or like a rust converter sealer on it, and then I'll spray it with just some tractor implement paint I have. It holds up pretty well. You can't see it because it's got stuff spilled all over it, but it's just some cheap gloss black tractor implement paint, so that stuff holds up pretty well being outside and everything. So this the frame should hold up really nice. And this is actually well, this is from like probably 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Held up pretty good outside. I didn't prep or anything. I sprayed right over the rust, which is kind of silly, but whatever. Alright, and now I already cut off the bracket on the one side, but what I'm going to do, I'll just use the plasma cutter. I'll whack off those real quick. stuff on here. When you put it on, it's purple, and that's when it's reacting, I guess, with the rust. And then once it's ready to paint, you can see it starts turning black, and turns into like a gloss black. It does a pretty good job, honestly. I use this bottle, a whole lot of it. Not on this, but on a bunch of projects. And it's called Seal. It's a rust converting metal primer. So it seems to work really well on everything I've used it on, and I'll probably have to go grab another jug of it. I've sprayed it before and it works fine. You can spray it real well. When I do this truck here, I probably will. I'll have the frame blasted, and then I'll probably just paint it, spray it with this stuff, and put a good not an undercoating. I'll probably just spray it with the black tractor implement paint, because that stuff seems to hold up really well. So that'll be another project. So get ready if you're interested in these 67 to 72 trucks. I'll have that up there, and this thing runs and everything. It's it just pretty much the whole motor needs to be resealed, so I'll have to pull that. I got a good cab for it. I'll have to find fenders, a hood, a good bed. So just gonna collect parts for that. Just keep searching for them. But I'm gonna let this dry now, and then I'll come back. I'm not even gonna spray it because it's a small area. I'm just gonna use a brush and paint it with that gloss black tractor paint, and then she'll be ready to go. I'm gonna have to cut a little portion of it out and probably just touch it up with some paint for that C-notch, and then we'll go from there. All right, so it's pretty much dry. That's kind of how it turns out. It's kind of like a glossy black. I'm just gonna let it sit, and I'm not gonna paint it yet. What I'm gonna do, I marked out the C-notch, so I'll cut that out real quick, and once I get that cut out, then I'll go ahead and I'll just put a final coat of paint on there. That way it's all good to go, and it will seal in, any of those open edges. I'm gonna try to do it with the plasma cutter. I'm not too good at cutting with that thing, straight, but see what happens, I guess. I actually feel like I'm probably better off just using a cutoff wheel, because I'm a lot straighter with that. Maybe I'll just do that. Well, I decided to give it a shot. I don't know, we'll see. If it comes out crappy, I can always cut with the grind off, or with the cutoff wheel. Only way to get better at it is to do it, so. out pretty good though. Minus that little fire. Near the gas tank. Whew. Well, there's a little PSA for you. If you got flammable materials underneath your workplace when you're plasma cutting, make sure you remove those, because they'll catch on fire. That's good though. Now I don't even have to clean it up. It cleaned itself up. Of course, my custom camera died on me. Shut this off. I'm gonna close this too. Keep some heat in here. Man, actually, to be honest, I mean that doesn't look terrible. I'll just clean it up with a grinder. This thing's probably kind of. Let me use two hands. All right. So I'm off a little bit somewhere, so I have to look at it and figure out. Looks like down at the bottom here. I'm gonna have to trim some more off. So we'll do that. Like down here it's catching. So I'll cut some more of that out. We'll go from there. We got the frame all cut, and I got the holes plasma cut out. I'm going to get a drill bit and clean them up. I'll get a flap wheel, just clean up where I plasma cut, and that should be it. Should be good to go. I did notice that one of my leaf spring in the front there is cracked. The bushing came out, so I had to order a new leaf spring. So this thing is going to sit here a little longer than I anticipated. I have other stuff I want to get on the lift that I actually need to get done, and now this thing is going to sit here, so I don't know. I guess worst comes to worst, I guess I could weld that leaf spring up real quick just to get this thing out of here. But let's get it cleaned up. I'm waiting on U-bolts because these are pretty much garbage, even though I tried to save them. The threads are all boogered up. Gonna get new bolts for the leaf springs, and gonna hit the leaf springs with, well, I guess one will be brand new, but that pack over there, maybe I'll just get 2 new packs, I don't know. But I was gonna clean them up and paint them black, and then eventually paint the whole frame and everything, just clean it up and hit it all with some gloss black. Hit it with this sealer primer stuff first and then go from there. But yeah, I'm going to clean this up and then we'll get moving on the lowering kit, or the flip kit. Got all the we got all the holes drilled out cleaner, and I hit it with the flat disc real quick, getting a slag off, and now I just have the paint drying here. So I just stuck it where I'm going to be putting the U-bolts and stuff like that for now. I just ordered a new leaf spring, $160 later. Kind of stinks because I didn't really want to have to spend money on it, but so now it should be good to go. I'm gonna, eventually I am gonna paint this whole frame, but I just don't have the time right now and I don't feel like dealing with it, so figured I'd get this area, the areas that are going to be covered, painted at least, and then after that, when I get some time, I will clean this whole frame up and just spray it with the primer and then that flat, the gloss. I'm sorry, the gloss implement paint, because that stuff holds up pretty darn well. But yep, so we'll let this dry. Gotta wait for a leaf spring to come. In the meantime, I'll probably take that other leaf spring outside. I'll hit that with the wire wheel and then paint that also. And that's it, really. I'll probably paint that one the same time as the new one when it comes off. Put another coat on the new one, and we'll see how it goes. This thing should look pretty good. I'm pretty excited. And then we got to move to the front, and I have all new ball joints, bushing, everything. I bought all new stuff for it, because I'm going to be lowering that. I'm going to cut probably 2 coils out of it, and let's see what else. I got a 3-inch. I got a 3-inch drop spindle too for it, or 2 spindles obviously. So that should give me 5 in the front, and I'm hoping to get 6 or so out of the back. The back, I guess you always can kind of adjust that by, I can always stack a block underneath if I wanted to, or just get some drop shackles. Probably just get drop shackles would be the easiest, less rigged up way. One year I had a 80, what was that one? It was an 82 with a 6.2 diesel and a 4-speed with overdrive, the A833, and I ended up just taking this and I lifted it up and cut the top of the ear off of it. It gave me a few inches. It just kind of makes your driveline a little funky, but it worked pretty well. And I actually pulled some kind of heavy stuff with that. It wasn't the best truck to pull with. I put a turbo on it and all that kind of stuff, but got it done. But alright, let's let this paint dry. Enough talking. Alright, paint's all those holes out a little better now. A little frustrating. Alright. Let's see if I can get them. Get them in there. Good. I don't know why there's a gap on here. It's almost like I think the frame actually is bending slightly. So I might have to lift up while I stick these ones Got it done. I have to put the bump stop on the other side. And actually I do need to tighten up that nut. Because for whatever reason, they put the mounting hole right where the other nut would come out, so I had to cut that one. These I actually just cut new holes in it just so they would sit out a little bit and I can use them without cutting the bolt. And that's it. So that's done. And pretty crazy, I just ordered this yesterday. I just got it today, so I'm real excited. The only thing I need really is the U-bolts, but I need to get, I bought this Volkswagen Jetta wagon, a TDI, and I got to do the timing belt and all that kind of stuff on it before I use it. And I'm on a kind of a crunch. I have like 3 days before I have to get my shoulder worked on, so I won't be able to do anything for a while. So I'm trying to get all this stuff done, and then that way, you know, I can not stress about trying to get it done. But yeah, I think I might just bolt in the old U-bolts for the time being, and just so I can move this thing out of here. And then when the new ones come in, I'll just swap them out real quick, and that's it. But yeah, so I'll mount up this other leaf spring. Hopefully those old U-bolts, I mean, they still have a little thread that they'll grab. I'm literally just gonna back this out of here into my driveway thing, and then it should be out of the way. And then that way, at least I can get that Touareg in here. I mean, the Jetta in here. Work on that for a minute. Really need to just do the timing change and like an oil change in it, the timing belt and the oil change. I'll be good to go for now. And that's it. So let's get this done, and then I'll show you the difference. I mean, it's gonna be hard to tell because I don't have a bed on it right now, obviously. So I was really just waiting to get this done till I put the bed on. So now that's the next step, is getting that bed back on. Alright, got the C-notches installed. I welded up the back of this. Looks like complete garbage because I couldn't get in there to clean it, to grind it down. But whatever. Should stick good enough. Then I ran to the store, and they didn't have the same size bolts I needed. They're a hair longer, so I can't use it for the rear shackle. I have to use them for the front. And I'll just have to reuse two good, because I have two good bolts, I believe. So let's get that figured out. I'm going to put a little bit of grease on these. So I'm just putting just a hair of grease on here before I slide it into the eye on the leaf spring. Alrighty, so we'll stick this in there. Get this sledgehammer. Ow, my toe. Alright, let's see if you get, there we go, that's better. Tight. This damn battery keeps dying on me. Junk. Get the back one in now, and then that way I can kind of wiggle it, get it lined up all right. What do you got here? nice on there. What we're gonna have to do, pry bar. These dang bushings are a little too wide. Back, you can kind of bend the shackle a little bit outwards to make them fit. You can't really do that in the front. Got her. Now let's work on the front. What do I need here? I think I'm just going to try to shoot that thing in there, see what happens. I'll try to send this one in. Sometimes that works pretty well. Sometimes you just mess up the threads, which is probably what I just did. Threads are still good. Quinn, you want this? My dog's about to kill him now, man. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just take the old one, I think, and just slam it through, get it lined up. Now if that fit, this should fit actually. Good enough. Didn't really booger the threads up. Alright, got them in. I'll tighten them down all at the same time. I'll do the other side now. But same idea. actually for the U-bolts because the stock ones are too short anyhow. But I'm pretty sure that's how these get set up. If I know, looks right. So we'll wait for those U-bolts to come in. I'll bolt it up, and that should be it. We'll see how low she sits. I'm pretty excited. And then another time, I don't know, I'll clean up the frame and everything, and clean up and paint that leaf spring, and put another coat of paint on this leaf spring, all at the same time. But I don't really have the time to do it now, so I'm just trying to get it done so I can get it out of the way and work on things that need to be worked on and I need to use to drive around. Alright, we got our U-bolts. They finally came. I haven't had a chance. I just opened them up. I haven't had a chance to line everything up and see, if they fit or if they're gonna work. Let's see what we got. Ooh, they might not work. That's great. I might have to. I don't know. I might have to put a block or something over there, small, like 1 inch. Let me put this camera down. Alright, let's see here. I have a feeling they're not going to work. That's just usually the way my luck is. I don't know. They would be fine if the thread was just another 2 inches longer. I could stack washers on there, I guess, if I need to. Not really the best case, but can you see it? It might work. We'll give it a shot. If it works, it works. So yeah, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm gonna bolt them up, see what it looks like. Worst case, I'll run washers on it and go from there, I guess. I don't know. I think these stretch a little bit, but I don't know. We'll let's just get it on there so I can get this thing out of the garage at least. Got them on there. I just put an extra washer, and I think I should be able to get away with that. I just have to cut the bottom of the U-bolts because they're too long. Get my impact on them. I don't feel like using a wrench. Should still work just the same. It's just like basically like a block, like a spacer almost. But let's lower it down. See what it looks like. Put that hammer right underneath. Come on. Alright. Now let's let her sit on her own weight. Alright, cool. Well, that's where it's gonna sit. It's definitely a lot lower. Pretty nice. It looks like I'll have to lower. I got a 5-inch drop kit basically. Well, I bought 3-inch drop spindles. I'm gonna cut 2 coils out of the front, and we'll get that low also. And we should be in pretty darn good shape. But I think it came out pretty nice, especially for the C-notch kit and flip kit. I mean, it was like 80 bucks, and it looks like my shocks are gonna be fine. They're not like close to bottoming out or anything, so I'll leave them in there for now, and we'll go from there. But she's all done. I'll paint that. I'm gonna paint all this eventually. I just didn't want to paint I didn't want to paint everything now because I got other stuff to do. But I'll paint it all before I get the bed on it. Thanks for checking out this episode of Holly's Garage. Got the flip kit in there and the C-notch, so that's pretty exciting. And now we'll work on getting the front end lowered. And from there, then I'm going to throw the bed on there, fix the hole in the floor where I cut out to put that manual trans. I have to build kind of like a trans tunnel for it, I guess. And that's it. We'll throw the bumper front end back on this thing, and hopefully I can get, either I'm going to try to learn how to do it and do it through HP tuners or something to tune this a little better, or just take it somewhere and have them do it. I'd rather not spend the $300, $400, $500 bucks, whatever it comes out to be, and have someone else do it. I'd rather pay, I'll probably pay that too, but I'll be doing other LS swaps, so it'd be nice to learn and go from there. So thanks for checking out this episode. If you like what you saw, hit that thumbs up button. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And I'm like 750 subscribers right now, so if I hit that 1,000 subscriber mark, I'd be pretty excited. And hopefully then I can start upgrading some of my camera equipment and microphones and all that kind of stuff, and work from there. But cool, thanks for checking this out, and have a good one.